This is the moment that many of these athletes have been waiting their lives for, the victory ceremony to be presented with their Paralympic medals. For men's wheelchair basketball, we've just had an incredible tournament in Paris at the Bercy Arena. The players put on a show, the fans came out in huge numbers and supported every moment of every game. It was incredible to remember that. There's going to be some tears for some athletes who thought maybe they could do one step better. There's going to be tears for athletes who can't believe how well they've done. And for some of these athletes, it will be their first Paralympic medal. For some, it will be their second, maybe their third, some even their fourth Paralympic medal.
I think that's one of the biggest points here. There are players on there that this is the beginning of the journey. There's some players out there who maybe this is the end of their journey, and there'll be mixed emotions within teams as well as across the three teams that we see in front of us.
Incredible job by the organizers, the volunteers, to get all of this set up so that they can get all of the athletes literally in your shot, in your camera shot, so that the whole world can see the best in the world in wheelchair basketball. What a treat it's been to call this from start to finish.
The medals will be presented by Monsieur Kenzé Rezerman, président de LA 2028. The LA 2028 chairperson. Sir Philippe Gravel, reconnaissance pour l'ensemble de ses réalisations, président de l'IPC 2001-2017. Lifetime recognition, IPC president 2001 and 2017. Monsieur Duham Kay, le président du comité international paralympique. Vice president of the International Paralympic Committee. Accompagné by Monsieur Wolf Merens, président de la Fédération internationale de basketball roulant. President of the International Wheelchair Basketball Federation. Monsieur Walter Faller, vice-président de la Fédération internationale de basketball en fauteuil roulant. Vice President of the International Wheelchair Basketball Federation. Monsieur Norbert Kutsera, secrétaire général de la Fédération internationale de basketball en fauteuil roulant. Secretary General of the International Wheelchair Basketball Federation. Médaillé de bronze représentant l'Allemagne. Bronze medalist representing Germany.
Muller had a great game in the bronze medal match, started on fire and got Germany rolling. Gunnar, huge tournament started, the last significant key games for Germany. What a substitute he was throughout the tournament, outstanding. Glossner, like all the others, winning their first Paralympic medal, first medal for Germany since 1992. Jan Haller, what a moment for the captain to be awarded that medal. John Sadler, another Hanover United player, getting that medal around his neck. The man of the hour. Scored 36 points in the bronze medal game after a huge quarterfinal game as well. Key moments for him in some of the key games when they needed him to be big. What a thrill for the first-time Paralympian. Same story for that 20-year-old. Interesting tournament for Germany. They lost and won every game throughout the tournament in that order. Lost, then won, lost, then won, lost, then won. And the 3 wins, or at the right moments, they win the bronze medal game and bring a bronze back to Germany.
As we said, for some of these players, this might be the last time that they're on this stage. There are a lot of young players in this Germany team. Players like Thomas Ryer, like Julius Lammering, guys with huge futures ahead of them. And the future really does look bright for Germany wheelchair basketball.
Well, and maybe the 35, 36-year-old Steve Sirios and the 30, 45-year-olds Patrick Anderson's giving some hope to some of these other players who are in their early 30s saying, I can still do this, and I want to do this.
Oh, absolutely. Early 30s is nothing in wheelchair basketball.
Remember, Germany had been knocked out in the quarterfinals at 6 straight Paralympic Games. They got through that challenge this time. Got to the semifinals after a tough loss there. They bounced back with a huge win earlier today in the bronze medal game. And there are smiles all the way around.
Silver medalists representing Great Britain.
Lee Fryer, key minutes in that gold medal game.
Medals being presented to the Great Britain players by Sir Phil Craven here. An absolute legend of a player in his own right before he took a more administrative role as one of the leaders within the IWBF and within the Paralympic movement. And Phil Craven giving the medal to Terry Bywater there, 7-time Paralympian. Harry Brown, smile on his face. Difficult at times, of course, winning a silver medal, knowing that you've just lost that last match, but still a silver medal, I'm sure in reflection, will be a highlight of the career for a lot of these players, despite the disappointment right now.
4th medal for Abdi Jama's career. Big contribution.
Disappointment on the face of Warburton, of course. He'll be proud of his performances throughout this tournament, though, when he looks back, he's been an outstanding player for Great Britain here.
So was he. Wow. Jim Palmer, starter in every game.
Pete Cusack, a first-time Paralympian. Not bad winning a silver medal on your first ever trip to the Games. He had a huge role to play in the game today as well, and he can be proud of himself.
Fought to the finish, did Ben Fox.
You can see a smile on the face of Phil Pratt. That's good to see. He knows that it was within their grasp to take home a little more, but he can be incredibly proud of the way he's led this team, this entire tournament. Unreal tournament for him.
You can see they have a lot of respect for the former president of the International Paralympic Committee, Phil Craven.
Simon Brown, you can always see such an emotional player, but absolutely has always played with his heart on his sleeve for GB, and you can see that's a tough one for him.
Look at that shot that Bywater hit coming off the bench, ice cold in the fourth quarter.
I mean, if I think through the wheelchair basketball I've seen over the years, there is no one in the game that I would rather have take that shot than Bywater, but still an unbelievable moment in this final.
Lee Manning put on a show in the gold medal game. He was the target, I think, of the USA defense for a lot of the game there. How do we stop Lee Manning?
Exactly, and in periods it worked quite well. They managed to stop him here and there, but over the course of the game, he was just an absolute giant for Great Britain today.
Tough for these Great Britain players. Last year it was silver against USA at the World Championships. This is silver at the Paralympic Games. It'll make them a little hungrier, I would imagine, for some of them the next time out, wherever and whenever that is.
For sure, and we just saw legends of the game there. Dan Johnson, former long-time Great Britain player. The emotions here just aren't from the players, they're from the fans, from the families that have travelled all around the world watching them, and they can be proud of their team.
By the way, that was the 5th Paralympic medal for Terry Bywater.
Not a bad return on 7 games.
But these are the heroes of the day. United States of America, the gold medalists. For some of these players, their 3rd in a row. 5 of the players were with the team in Rio and Tokyo and Paris, including Jake Williams, who was an absolute rock star. You might say he's the MVP of the tournament. Talon Jordan gets his first, and you know his teammates are thrilled for that.
Huge smile on the face of Brian Bell. He hit some absolutely crucial shots in that game.
Sirio's 4th Paralympic medal, 3rd gold. Schulte's 3rd Paralympic medal, 1st gold. Nate Hines, 4th Paralympic medal, 3rd gold. 40 minutes in the game again for Trayvon Jennifer. 4th medal for him, 3rd gold in a row. 1st for Fitzpatrick. 1st gold for Salazar. What a moment. 1st gold for Fabian Romo. 2nd in a row for John Boy. in his second Paralympic Games. And first Paralympic gold for Jeremy Meyer. These are moments these players will never, ever forget.
Absolutely not. And what a learning experience for some of these young guys. They may not have seen huge minutes through the tournament, but to have been exposed to this level of wheelchair basketball, to have had teammates with such professionalism and such experience, they can only learn from this. And the USA are going to be a dangerous team moving forwards.
Well, in the moments from the end of the match, at the end of the game until the ceremony, Steve Serio was interviewed, and he said on any given day, it could be any athlete. We know that we go 12 deep. Fact of the matter is we've grown up together, we've won together, we've lost together, and that builds a pretty good basketball team. And he also said, I read somewhere once that the secret of basketball is not about basketball, it's about the relationships you build. And these guys, well, we bleed together. We sweat together, we work together, we fail together. Today, we won together.
I mean, that sums up Steve as a character, that he's been such a leader. He took the team on his shoulders, he scored huge points today, but his first thought is always the team. It's always, what do I need to do to make these guys as successful as they can be, and what do we do to need to improve? And you can see how he's led them here today.
He also said, interestingly enough, to cap off my Team USA career with a win like this. So that suggests to us he thinks this is the end of his Paralympic journey.
Speaking personally, I hope not. He's been unbelievable here.
Mesdames et messieurs, si vous le pouvez, veuillez vous lever pour l'hymne des États-Unis d'Amérique.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand if you're able for the national anthem of United States of America.
Paralympic gold for the United States of America and their anthem. Silver goes to Great Britain, bronze goes to Germany. We had an amazing men's wheelchair basketball tournament in Paris. Only one team could win, and it was Talon Jordan's United States of America. He'll never forget that moment where he gets to hold up that gold medal.
I think so many of these players, as you've said, have won this medal a few times before now, but I'm sure that feeling doesn't get old as we see emotion on the face there of Trayvon Jennifer, and just how much it means to so many of them. Really never gets old, that feeling.
The other wonderful thing about it is they got to celebrate this 3 years ago in Tokyo. There were no fans there, unfortunately, because of we know the reasons, but here there were 12,000 plus in the house celebrating every shot, every moment, and of course the gold medals. It's just an amazing way to wrap up this tournament with gold for USA in a really incredible gold medal game earlier in the day, it was the bronze won by Germany in their clash against Canada.
Absolutely. For so many of these players, they will have enjoyed the experience in Tokyo. They will have learned a lot from it, of course, playing at that stage. But the fact that so many families have traveled here today, I've bumped into so many of the American players' families just around the arena and in Paris, and that they're following them here all around the world. And it's not an easy journey for some of those families to make, but they're so proud of their families, of their friends, and families of the players, of the coaches here to support them, and that makes this moment even sweeter.
Guys are saying, how much longer do we have to smile? Well, if you won a gold medal tonight, USA, you'll be smiling throughout the night and probably on the whole flight home.
Oh, I'm sure. There are definitely some characters on that team that know how to celebrate. They've got a lot of experience of it, of course. They've had the practice, but I'm sure they'll be having a great evening tonight.
Well, we especially tip our hats to the three who've won 3 straight gold medals. Jake Williams, Brian Bell, Steve Serio, Nate Hines, and Trayvon Jennifer. You've accomplished something that no one has ever done in wheelchair basketball. We tip our hats to you. Well, gold medal entertainment too, Joe, from start to finish. This whole tournament on the men's side has just been, you said mouth-watering earlier tonight. That made me think that's exactly what every game it's like. We can't wait to see what's going to happen next. What's on the menu?
Exactly, and this was potentially the final that a lot of people predicted. But as we said earlier, the first time I would say the USA have gone in as underdogs, and they've really had to scrap, and they've had to fight, and they've had some unbelievable individual performances to get here and to just battle for this gold medal. But that's been the theme of the tournament. There have been very few blowout games. There have been absolute battles in front of one of the most incredible crowds that I've ever seen.
I'm always amazed at how big and bulky and heavy these medals are. They seem like they get bigger every time.
I'm sure they do, but they won't be weighing heavy on any of those guys right now. They'll be absolutely loving every minute of it. You see, struggling to even keep their eyes on the photo. They're just wanting to look down at that medal and just realize what it is they've achieved here.
And how about for Rob Taylor? He was the assistant on the first 2 gold medals. This time, he was the man in charge.
Definitely, it's difficult to remember sometimes when we see some of these athletes creating such incredible stories that there's a lot of pressure on these coaches too, and to be the guy that replaces back-to-back gold medals is a huge responsibility, but he's got a great staff around him, so much experience, people like Michael Pay there on the bench, multiple gold medal winner as a player, hugely experienced in the professional game, and how much will it mean to him as well?
Steve Serio's got the scissors ready, Joe. He is ready to cut down the mesh. And what a thrill this is, and a big part of basketball championship lore.
It's a tradition that somebody from the team, some teams do it differently. Some guys, it's the rookie that goes up. Some people, it's the captain. Maybe it's a veteran who's retiring. Each team has their own things that they do, and luckily here in Paris, just off camera at the moment, they are lowering the nets down. It wouldn't be the first time that I've seen a guy in his wheelchair lifted up all the way 10 feet in the air to the net and climbing up on top of that net to cut it down. But here in Paris, they cut it down, and what tends to happen, again, it's not always the case, is that they'll cut that net down, both nets usually, and each player will get a piece of that net that'll go around their medal, something extra alongside that medal to remember the tournament by that they're the nets that they scored through. These are the nets that won them that tournament.
Those are American scissors too. They're red and blue scissors. I don't know if there's any white in there.
I mean, no one can accuse them of not being a patriotic team.
Yeah, they came prepared for the victory, I suppose. Maybe had it hidden. So Steve Serial's going to cut this mesh down one at a time. He hopes those scissors have been sharpened, because otherwise this could take a while.
Oh, I can tell you this does take a while. It is not the easiest, and you can see Steve is taking his time there, cutting through this.
It's almost through one strand. There we go.
Steve Serial, a veteran of this. If you cut the right place, you can pull it and it just loops out. Otherwise, it could take him some time.
And he wants someone else. He gives it to one of the other players, one of the younger players. I think that's AJ Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, this is something I haven't seen before. Players taking it in turns to do the cutting.
Le comité d'organisation de Paris 2024 tient à remercier tous les volontaires pour le tour.
You can see the players just continuing to cut the net down here, and for me, MVP of the tournament, Jake Williams, is the one who's cutting the net down right now. A guy who's known as one of the most lethal scorers in the game, but he's shown his defensive side as well, leading the tournament in points and steals, as well as the fourth most assists in the tournament.
What a tournament it was. And on behalf of Joe Bestwick, my name is Rob Snook. We loved every minute of it. We hope you did too. Thanks for watching Men's Wheelchair Basketball from Paris 2024.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our session. What a cracking 2 games you've had. One more time to grab applause. The United States of America, you're back to back Paralympic gold medalists.